as to, how we should move forward with them. Because we cannot run an agency that is so critical to the economy going forward with our $90 billion loan portfolio, with being responsible for 23% of government contracts going to small business, with being responsible for disasters, which could be catastrophic. We can't execute unless we execute without, at the highest levels of effectiveness and transparency. So that's the commitment. We are working on that. I would have to say that these, what I have found actually on the flip side is that we have great people. We have a great team, and we have great bone structure. And the secret that I have found is that our bone structure is our people and also our partners. We have over 4,000 lending partners. We have over 14,000 counselors in our SPDCs and our SCORES and our women business centers. We have a network throughout this whole country where we touch businesses. We are within, one person told me, an hour to 40 minutes of most businesses with a counselor. So we have an important and critical role to play. We are breaking down silos. And that also helps with this waste, fraud, and abuse because it can't live in this open, transparent environment. And we are working together to bring the power of that entire network to small businesses in order to bring the economy out of the recession and give it strength and make it competitive going forward.
Mr. Scheer, if you were in charge, what's the number one thing you'd tackle? And it may be on the same line.
I'll make one flippant remark, which is we're not supposed to make management decisions. But so let me just make some observations, if you could live with observations. As an accountability organization, when we see what I'll call a complete lack of internal control and fraud prevention in a program like the HubZone program, we just say, some people might say, well, the HubZone program isn't that important, but whenever we look at anything in government dealing with HubZone or contracting programs, that's something that is always going to be, as an audit agency, something that we think is very important to address and address aggressively for our programs, for these programs to work. With respect to the capital access programs, this I will make a statement just because it's such a big part of what SBA does. And there's even a more important part now that we have the credit crisis that faces us. Over the years, among the things we have recommended is that in running its programs where SBA is delegating authority to lenders, and there is so compliance-oriented, and compliance is good, but you don't get into questions as far as how are those lenders using the authority we're granting to them? Are they meeting the intent of the program? So as we go forward, for example, now in looking at the Recovery Act, we just say, can SBA kind of step back and become more evaluative in the way they manage their capital access programs so you can help figure out how to implement different provisions that are to meet an intent in the credit markets where you're relying on private lenders to carry out certain authorities. So that would be the second area. The third area I'd point out, the third part that I would point out, as an audit agency, we don't make recommendations to either to increase or decrease any agency's budget. I mean, we're just not in that business. It's a congressional prerogative. But with SBA over the last few years, at a minimum, we always are asking the question in your entrepreneurial development programs like women's business centers, in running various programs, including the contracting programs, including 8A, do you have the resources in place? So what we tend to look for is some type of strategic planning. What do you need to get the job done? So those are the three areas I'd point out.
Mr. Scheer, and to have all those things in place, the agency will need resources. Because when Mr. Graves asked a question, addressed a question to you, about how does this agency compare to other agencies, we have to answer the way you answer it, but also take into account that this is the agency where for the last 6-7 years the budget was cut by almost 40%. That's another factor that we need to, element that we need to factor in. Mr. Lukemeyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Mills, the committee has heard that you and your staff have been approving contracts requested by the Office of Inspector General, and we're concerned that this could interfere with an ongoing investigation of the Inspector General in violation of the Inspector General statute. Are you approving contracts requested by the Inspector General's office? And if you are, how are you ensuring that there is no interference with the ongoing investigation of the Inspector General's office?
So the question is, are we approving contracts? And maybe you could clarify what sort of contracts?
You're dealing with the Inspector General. Can you explain your relationship first, I guess, and maybe we can go from there.
Yes, the Inspector General is an independent actor in the agency. They are funded independently. They are very active and work separately from us, but we hope collegially and in partnership. We provide information as requested.
Do you work together on any sort of contractual obligations?
Not to my understanding, but I'm happy to get back to you with an answer on that for the record.
Okay, that's fine. A while ago you mentioned something about you were looking at a number of programs based on a risk-based approach. Can you explain to me what your description